You know the day destroys the night. Night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other
Welcome
side.
to the Being Found Show. Being Found Show is your internet marketing helpline. If you need help with your online marketing, your website, or figuring out how to grow your local business, give us a call. Any question, we'll answer it, or we'll tell you to Google it. Or we'll tell you how to Google it, because unfortunately the answers are there. Okay, so I'm your host, Cloudwise Joe, and I have half of my internet superheroes team here.
That's right.
So who are you?
I'm Sean.
Yeah, we have that half, Sean. Sean, the content wizard. Sean tells us he's got a pretty, what do you say? You said...
I said kind of interesting.
Kind of interesting?
Because I habitually underestimate. For the purposes of radio, you want to stay tuned for this story. It's just shocking, mind-blowing.
Wow, so I don't know what to think. Okay, good. So stay tuned. He won't even tell me about it. If you have questions or you want to be a part of the show, give us a call, 530-605-4567. Again, that's 605-4567. Or you can check us out online, beingfound.com. All kinds of good stuff there, and our podcast and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I like to answer questions for businesses. That seems to be what I do all week, and so I think the show's no different. And so I do want to answer a couple questions before we get started and before we get into your interview that I got this week. One of them is, it's a Google scam alert that I want to talk about. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, some guy, a local company called me up and said, "Hey, Joe, I'm getting these phone calls that say they're from Google, and they say that they're going to help me get to the top of the Google page."
Uh-huh.
And, I actually get that same call. It's a robot call. You can tell that it's a robot voice. I get that call about 3 times a day, and I get it from different phone numbers. Nowadays, I'm sure you all know this now, telemarketers can actually call you from the area code you're in. And so you'll think it's your friend calling you from a cell phone, and it ends up being a robot voice that says, "Hey, this is Google, and we can help you." Well, that is a total scam.
Yeah, that sounds very trustworthy and legitimate.
Yeah. Well, and it must work because they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so what this is, here, let me tell you what Google says about this first. Google calls it the robocall scam. It says that they're automated recordings that are sent out, and then once you speak or say anything, a sales rep jumps on and basically sells you a search engine optimization service or something like that. Google wants to be clear on Google support blog. They want to be clear to let you know that they never call you like that.
Yeah.
So if you're getting that robot call from Google, it's not them. Don't push the button. Just hang up.
So who is actually doing this?
Well, I didn't actually look into which company is doing it this time, but I think if you're a business or if you've ever bought a domain, your email is probably full of search engine optimization companies from overseas and all over the world who are just basically bombarding you. So this is a technique that's not just used by one company.
Okay.
It's one of the many ways that basically all of these companies out there are just shotgunning and trying to get contact with anybody they can to sell them their products. So just don't push any buttons. It's not Google. It's not Google. Google is not going to call you like that. Now, as a side note, that doesn't mean you can't talk to Google.
Yeah.
Google's actually has phone numbers. One of them is available in your support area of Google My Business. Another one is in Google AdWords. There's a phone number up in the top right corner if you click on the little icon, the little gear icon. And Google actually, surprisingly, is very helpful on the phone.
Yeah, we talk to Google all the time.
That's right.
We're like, hey, how can we get this guy ranking more? Help us. And they're like, oh, well, do this and this and this.
Yeah.
It's much easier than you'd think.
Yeah, they are helpful. And, if you don't have money for a search engine optimization team, reach out to Google.
Yeah.
Google, even in their support blog, says, hey, we're going to try to give you everything you need to know in our guidelines so that you can at least attempt to optimize your content and things like that by yourself. And you can reach out to Google. Doesn't mean you'll get the best results because there's still a lot of technical, complicated stuff that has to be done, but they're there.
But Google wants the maximum number of people to optimize and follow its guidelines.
That's right.
You know, the more people do that, the more effective their service is. So really, it's win-win.
That's exactly right. Okay, so then I want to move on to one other thing real quick before we get into your interview, Sean. And I call this the "Did You Know?" And can I say it cooler? Did you know? You know, I'm going to say you probably don't know. And I say that because I don't know, how many businesses do I talk to a week, Sean? I don't even know. And either talking to businesses, helping set them up, or answering questions. I'm constantly talking to businesses. And one thing I always ask them is, did you know that Google will actually tell you how many people are looking for your services in any given area? Did you know that Google will tell you what they're looking for and how hard it would be to be ranked and found for those things they're looking for? And so what I call this is the "Did You Know?" And what I wanted to do is I wanted to actually use this tool right here online and give you some ideas of what I'm talking about. So right before we got on the air, I did a scientific study, and I asked Sean, what kind of businesses should I check in this tool?
It's true. You are wearing glasses.
And I am wearing glasses,
Therefore, scientific.
which is new. So let me give you an example. So this tool, you all can use it. This is completely free. It's in Google Adwords, which Google Adwords is their marketing platform. It's totally free to set up. You can go to Tools and use the keyword planner, and here's the kind of things it'll tell you. So I typed camping into the keyword planner, and I just highlighted Shasta County. So essentially what Google's now telling me is a whole bunch of important stuff about what's going on with the term camping. So if I'm a camping store, if I rent out campers, if I sell camping shells or anything like that, I can start to see, for one, well, how much potential is there out there for me? Is this something people really care about in this area? Are there lots of people searching?
Right.
You
get a really specific number.
You get a really specific number. So here's the deal. For all terms Google relates to camping in Shasta County, there's anywhere between 4,500 to 1,400 searches for those kind of words. And words might be locations for camping, camping vacations, camping reservations, camping locations, camping stove. Okay, right? So that's the kind of terms. Now, what it's telling me is, this is a really interesting thing. It's all interesting, but this tool for free, now it's telling me exactly what terms people are putting in. It's telling me exactly how many times people are typing any one of those specific terms, and it's telling me every month how many times it is. So, for instance, in July, it's 4,500. In December, it's 1,400.
Yeah.
So now, as a company who may sell any of these things, I can actually start to schedule out my advertising, or maybe adjust my sales down to the month as I'm watching this trend.
Yeah, you hear a lot nowadays about, the kind of insight that's available on the internet. And this is the kind of thing we mean. People don't necessarily know, okay, where do I find all this data? Well, Google AdWords is a really good place to start.
Yeah, this is a great place to start. Okay, so we are coming up to the end of this first segment. You're going to want to come back because Sean's going to tell us a spectacularly interesting story from one of his interviews. And if he lets us all down, I'll be the first one to let him know.
Okay.
All right, you're listening to Being Found. We'll be right back.